Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Wow, okay, so attendees are growing, everyone's logging in. Thank you, everyone, for attending today's webinar. Hello, Julie. Good morning to you too. So where is everyone from? You can post in the comment. So I see some familiar names. Hi, Jeff. Hello, Cindy. Abigail Gonzalez, welcome. Jane, welcome. Emma Johnson, Preet, welcome, everyone. Morzena, welcome. Campus dentist from Hamilton, nice. Welcome. Yeah, hi, Jeff. Hi, guys. So feel free to post in the chat as we go along this webinar. Got quite a few people just logging in. Perfect. So we're very excited today. Good morning. Okay, so we can just start off right now. Just to let everyone know, this is being streamed to Facebook. If you have any friends, colleagues, parents maybe that are interested in watching and joining us, feel free to paste that link I pinned at the top to your Facebook, and they'll be able to watch it live, same as you. And we'll be monitoring Facebook as well. Everyone on the Facebook sphere, feel free to post, comment, engage. We are monitoring those comments and we'll answer questions as we go. Today we have a very exciting topic, one that I love, passionate about, is dental marketing. So feel free to post questions anytime during the Q&A. We will have some polls as well. So we can start off with our first poll. All right. So it's, how did you hear about us? Through Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, colleague, friend, speaker, myself. Feel free to post in there as well. Okay. So with the COVID, has changed a lot on, it's forced a lot of changes in dentistry and how we react to each of the different situations. It's very turbulent and difficult time. A lot of dentists have a lot of questions regarding a lot of aspects. That's why we started the dental COVID webinars, to answer those questions and to get information out so that dentists can prepare. The reality is that everyone's forced to change, and there will be winners and losers. The winners will be those ones who are able to adapt quickly to the changes, and the losers are the ones that are focused and hooked to the past. And we've never been in a situation where there's such major change and so quickly. And so we have to react, and that's the purpose of these webinars. We've been doing it twice a week, trying to get these up as quickly as possible. If you've been to our ones in the past, you'll be able to learn quite a bit of topics on there. So for today, I will be covering dental marketing and how to win in the COVID-19 era. A lot has changed. And so this is the series. We've already have about, I think, 7-8 speakers, and we're booking our next 10 speakers. Once again, we're working, we have the mentality of a tech startup. We are a tech startup, right? So we just get out as quickly as possible. So a little bit of background about me. I'm the CEO of DentistFind. We are a result-driven dental marketing company. We are a marketing management technology and services for dental office. So we are like your marketing department. We come in and we help you. We're accountable for increasing the patients by analyzing all aspects of your marketing and handling everything for you, and was accountable for the new patients. So I teach a course at the University of Toronto, the Dental Marketing and Social Media Fundamentals course, which we brought online, where we created an online version, which is perfect timing for these scenario. We also host the dental marketing conference. So we're moving that, we're forced to move that online. What you're seeing is kind of similar kind of concept that we will be doing. My team, we have about 25 to 30 people on our team, full-time people on a team building technology. Most of the people on our team are developers. We create a lot of technology, as well as researchers, where we research all the latest trends in dental marketing, which I will cover. So let's see, let's open up my slides for today. So feel free to ask any questions in the chat area at any time. We'll have a Q&A at the end as well. If I see the questions, I will answer them. So what I will be covering today is the dental marketing basics and how everything has changed, how the COVID has affected dental marketing, and what part does that play in your dental in your practice strategy and in your future. I will be covering all the basic elements. So this is an online course which you are able to purchase and take. What I will do is do a quick summary of all the main aspect of it and how have COVID changed those aspects of it. So I think the main question that everyone have is what will likely happen once offices start opening again. And this is with respect to marketing. So based on the data that I see, I suspect that patients will go to dental offices less often. They won't be returning as regularly as you would like. Fees, the good thing is that fees will go up. Your expense as a dental practice will go up because of all these additional things that you have to do to protect, to provide safety for the patient as well as yourself. So your costs will go up, but I think the good thing is that the fees will go up as well, and insurance coverage will also go up. The next thing is that patients will be more selective in which dentist they go to. They won't, right now, a lot of patients choose because of, I am echoing, okay. So, okay, can you hear me now? Is it still echoing? I think it should be fine right now. Yeah. Okay, so patients will be more selective in which dental office they go to. So they won't be just walking by and just walking into the dental office. They want to know that it's safe. They will no longer be incentivized to go into dental offices just because they're getting a $50 gift card. They'll be more selective. And patients will change their dentist if they don't feel comfortable or feel that the dentist is safe in the procedures that they put in place. They will be looking for another dental office. And so that's with the perception of safety. So they'll be more selective. So why is marketing more important now than before, than ever? So it's very important now, as patients are becoming more selective, to communicate the safety of your office. And this comes through marketing. No matter how much you invest in your office, all the procedures that you take, if that's not communicated to the patient or potential patient, then that investment will not pay off itself, right? With marketing, you're able to increase new patients. So marketing is no longer an option. Now it's critical for any office, even offices that have a high number of patients who are sitting back and just saying, we don't need patients. We get referrals. We get enough patients. So with marketing, you're able to increase and compensate for the patient that will be coming less often, patients that may be going to different offices. And this is marketing is a great way to attract those new patients into your office. And that's why marketing is very important for you to bring existing patients back and more often. So it's very important now than ever to set up the right communication channel. Marketing is communications to existing and new patients. That's where you can think about it. And it's more important now for you to have the right channels to communicate that to existing patients, to make them feel comfortable to come back, as well as to communicate to new patients and potential patients looking for dental offices. So the next important thing is that with dental marketing, you can control your revenue. The philosophy that I like to bring with dental marketing is that when you have the right strategy in place, you can increase and decrease the patients. When you do dental marketing properly, you know that if you want 5 new patients, what brings you these patients and what will work and how much effort and cost to put in to get a single patient, right? So with marketing, if you need 10 patients, you can increase certain things and get those 10 patients, right? That's how marketing should work. You should be able to analyze, see what works, what doesn't work, and then able to control that. When a certain month you don't need more patients, then you just decrease the cost, right? And then so that's important for you to have a marketing strategy that works. And one way that I would like to think about it is that with marketing is an insurance. Think of this as kind of like a insurance for your financial future, and as well as the kind of financial life of your staff, because you're able to increase and decrease the number of patients. Hopefully you don't need to increase it, but by having the right strategy in place, you will be able to. So think of that as insurance, and the companies the practices that are implementing and have successful marketing were able to take advantage of this insurance that they've set. So today I will be covering, I guess, the first half of the dental marketing basics course. So that is the economic of dental marketing, what a patient's really worth, the patient acquisition cost, that magical number. So how much it costs you to acquire a new patient, the winning formula, how to book a new patient. So I'll be covering all these topics with focus on how COVID has changed and the new reality of marketing. Patient motivation model, the 5 factors that motivate patients to book. So I'll be covering up to this point. And in addition, there will be for the marketing basics course, we also talk about the tools, which I will not be covering today. Won't have enough time, as well as the trends. I won't have time to cover today as well. So how do you feel about dental marketing, and what exactly is dental marketing? So a lot of people think that, a lot of dentists think that it's very complicated. They think that, they need, there's a lot of Instagram is always changing. There's no technology. There's a lot of gimmicks. There's a lot of tricks and incentives and all these kind of different things. They think, it's not, they think that if you are a good dentist, you shouldn't need, if you have good procedures, you don't need dental marketing. You don't really need to use social media and so on, right? So dental marketing is really, really simple, because you have a patient who's confused and they don't know which dental office to go to. And you have patients on one side, and then you have your dental practice on the other side right here. So basically, all marketing is, dental marketing is the bridge that connects the patients to your office. It communicates, helps them answer the questions that they have, and motivates them to book an appointment with you. And that's all marketing is. So I would start off by talking about the economics of dental marketing. What is a patient really worth? Based on my experience with dental offices, most offices don't really think about the value of a patient. They see that, okay, well, they came in for one cleaning and x-ray, that was $300, and that's all they really think about, right? But they're not really taking into the full factor of how much the patient actually spends with you for the lifetime. So the question is, do you know what value do you put on a patient? Like, how much do you think that they would generate for you in regards to revenue over the lifetime, right? That's the most important factor that you have to keep in mind. And what I see is that successful offices are the ones that have the right number. Basically, the basis of your strategy, the basis of your focus is on this one number to start with. All right? So how do you calculate the lifetime value of a patient? It's very simple. You just look at the annual spending that they spend with you, the number of years that they stay with you, and the number of referrals that they send, right? Plus themselves, and that equals the lifetime value. Now, let's take an example here. Okay, so the annual spending, say a patient on average spends $600 with you they stay with you for 10 years on average, and they refer to, the referrals 2 plus themselves, so that's 3. So for a 1 patient, you get 3 patients, right? And so the lifetime value would be $18,000 if you do the math over 10 years with you, right? So no longer is that patient only worth $300 for the exam, is worth $18,000, right? So should you spend $18,000 to acquire that patient? Definitely not. You have to look at the economics of this and talk to your accountant with this. Right? And now let's say you get 6 patients, so $18,000 for every 1 patient that you acquire through marketing or any other means, right? Now, let's say you get 6 patients a month, and then for over 12 months, then the lifetime value that you gather from your marketing of 6 patients is $1.296 million in revenue over 10 years of you, right? Once again, you have to keep into consideration the cost as well. All right. So, I mean, for every dental office is different. I highly recommend for you to look at your past records to see what the actual value is, the kind of how much they actually spend per year, patients spend per year, how many patients, patients per month. I mean, so more this number, how much they actually spend with you per year. You look at the number of years on average that they stay with you, and you look at the actual referrals that you get from them. Then you can determine the value. It's very different based on the geography. For example, people in the suburbs will stay longer. People downtown tend to move a lot more often. So the years they spend with you is a lot less as well, right? Now, so if you do this for over 12 months, you get, so this is the power of marketing, right? So on average, what are the numbers? So on average, based on my experience talking to a lot of dentists and doing this formula with them and talking to a lot of other professionals and reading studies, the number that I constantly see is anywhere between 5,000 to 50,000. So it's very important to keep track of that number to start with. Now, how will COVID affect this number, affect it? So I would say the annual spending, it'll probably increase as the fee guide will likely increase and you'll be charging more. So that could be increasing, but they might be coming less often. The time that they stay with you, I think that this might increase, because if you think from a patient's perspective, if they go to a dental office and they know that they take all these safety procedures, if I'm not patient and I move to a different area, actually now more likely to go back to my old office, even though I move, because I know that it's safe compared to other areas. And then the referral, I don't see that number changing too much. It's very important for you, for dental offices, to do referral marketing, and that can increase. Referral might actually be increasing because now more people will be looking for different dental offices if they don't feel comfortable in their office. Now, the factors that affect the lifetime value is the annual spending. So when a patient comes in with you, you ideally want to increase the lifetime value of the patient. Now, how do you do that? There's 3 factors that you can do. The annual spending. Typically, they don't spend that much more. If a patient comes to you, they have set procedures that they need to do, and they spend that amount, right? Now, years with you. Once again, as I mentioned, typically, there's not much you can do if a patient moves every 3 years or 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. There's not much you can do to get them to stay with you. And then there's certain things you can do, such as provide better treatment care, build better relationship. Next is the referral rate. So this is where I can see a lot of dental offices can increase, because as you can see, if they refer 2 patients, that triples the value of that patient that you acquire. If they refer 5 patients, right, that more than actually 5 times, because now the patients they refer will refer additional patients as well. And if you do a good job in providing good care to them, as well as providing a good using the technology to increase the referrals and constantly have your staff ask for referrals, you can pretty much grow your practice substantially just by focusing on this one area. So this is one underutilized area for the dental offices that I see. So these are the 3 areas you can focus on to increase the lifetime value, right? So now we know the lifetime value. What is the next step? Is to figure out the patient acquisition cost, right? So if a patient is worth $18,000 to you, if you've spent $18,000 to you, or whatever that number that you have, let's focus on the cost of acquiring the patient. So there are 4 different ways of acquiring a patient in general. Number 1 is with referrals. As I mentioned, this is definitely underutilized by many offices that I've seen. So this is the most cost-efficient way to increase the number of patients to your office, is just by focusing on referrals. And the cost is very, very low, and the return is very, very high, because once a patient talks to their friend, you have that credibility, you have that trust already. So your job as an office is to focus on asking the patient, making it easy for them to refer, having a good website where if they tell their friends, the friends can go look on the website, can see the video, and make a quick decision. Right. So the next technique for acquiring patients is for walk by. Right. For walk by. So this, I predict, I think the most likely case is that this will decrease substantially. So a lot of practices have invested in great locations with great visibility. And we have seen within the last 10, 20 years, despite having amazing visibility, we have a client at Young and Bloor, hundreds of thousands of potential patients pass by the office every single week. but they've booked very few from there. And if you've been in business for last at least 10 years, you've noticed that there you have less walk buys, right? And the reason you have less walk by is that before the internet wasn't as prevalent as it is now. So people didn't have that much information about a dental office. So it's easy for them, well, it's not easy, but they didn't have many options to get additional information about dental office than actually walking by and going in. But now with the internet, they have so many more options. They're bombarded with ads. They can go on, they can look at reviews, they can look at look at the website, look at videos. So they're more choosing more now to go online than walking by. And this is evident with my client in the heart of downtown. Right now with COVID, people are forced to stay inside. So, they're less likely to drive by or walk by your dental office, as well as now they want more information. They're thinking, well, is this safe? Should I go to this dental office? Are they up to par with their safety measures, right? So now they're even less likely than before COVID to go to your office and more likely to go online and do research on you, right? So that's an option there. And then, so the next option here is buying office. So you could acquire patients by buying office. So that's a little bit more difficult. That's a bit more kind of tricky now because you won't know how many of the patients that they have are active, and you don't really know the value of those patients. Will those patients be likely to be moving to a different dental office now? So that's in question. That's number one. And then number two is that with offices, you can't really, it happens, once in a while. It doesn't happen consistently. Same thing with walk by. You can't increase it that much. So that leaves the fourth option, which is marketing. So marketing, out of all these options, are the ones where you can scale up and attract more patients, right? So if you want to increase patients, increase 15 patients, so you can generate enough revenue for all the costs this month. With marketing, with right marketing strategy, you could do that. You can't just go and buy an office to get 15 new patients, and you can't increase the walk-bys, 15 patients, right? Referrals, you could do that to a certain degree, but there's a limitation. If you've already asked every single one of your patients that come in to refer, it's a little bit difficult. Whereas marketing is unlimited. Once you figure out the right strategies and techniques with marketing, you have the right system in place, then you can scale up 15, 20, 50, 80, even 100. So we have some clients who are getting over 100 new patients a month using marketing, right? So marketing can scale up and scale down. It's a good thing, right? So you're not forced to spend a certain amount, right? Now, cost per acquisition formula, it's very simple. You look at the cost of advertising by the number of patients that you get, cost per acquisition. So that's the number that you need to focus on. Yeah. All right. Very simple formula. So variables affecting patient acquisition costs. So number one is that you look at how much you spend, right? So you spend the money first, and what you do is that you buy the ads, and the ads have clicks, right? And then clicks leads to calls, and calls leads to booking, right? So to decrease your cost to acquire patients, what you do is that you look at every single one of these elements and to improve on those, right? Let's say you want to decrease the cost by half, right? You can either make your ads twice as more effective, right? Or you can just increase the clicks to your ad by double. You can handle the phone calls, better handle the phone calls, and then you can end up booking, having more elements on your site to book more patients, right? So if you improve every single one of these aspects, you will be able to decrease your cost per acquisition. So these are all these factors, and these are only areas that you can improve on to decrease your cost per acquisition. And most likely, it's very good to actually work on every single one of those aspects. And the most important thing is you want to track. You want to track every single one of these aspects, how many clicks you're getting, how effective the clicks are, what type of ad, how much you're spending, how many calls, how many patients you actually end up booking. So the most important thing is that you want to track every single one of those points. Now, what's going to happen in the future with COVID, right? How has COVID changed all of this? Well, I think the good thing is that the cost of ads have decreased, right? Decreased substantially during this period, and the competition has decreased substantially during this period. It was a great time to actually invest in marketing, because a lot of offices are cutting back in their costs. They're cutting back in their advertising costs. They want to conserve, but now is actually the most important time to invest in ads, advertising, because you want to acquire new patients. You want to be able to have that marketing system in place, right? So other offices are actually decreasing the ad. I mean, pretty much offices have stopped at this point. You don't want to start buying ads at this point, but as we get out of, offices start going back, I predict that many offices will cut their marketing budget. So the ads will actually get less expensive. That's number one. And because of the economic downturn and the closure of many businesses, they have stopped advertising. So overall, if you look at the inventory of ads on Google as well as the inventory ads on Facebook, not just the dental ads have decreased, but all the other ads have decreased. So the cost has gone down, which is a good thing. And then the clicks, how attractive your ad is, will show how well the clicks are. And so the messaging now has to change. So the messaging has to be about safety. The message has to be about the modernization of your office, about the technology you have, and about the staff and the team that you have. Right? Whereas before, it was more about location, about the team. So now the messaging slightly has to change a bit. We have to know the intent. People are looking for new dentists. You can know what procedures that they're looking for. So that has changed, right? And then now the calls. Now, when you do get calls to your office, it's very important now to change up the messaging, the way the receptionist answers the call now, because each patient is more valuable than ever. So you want to make sure you have the right messaging and the right training as well. So I always recommend this for every single office to hire trainers to come in to monitor the staff, as well as train the receptionists on saying the right things. Right? And as well as the conversions and the stuff you do for your website, those things will have to change as well. Right? It's more important than ever now to keep your website updated. I know many dental offices have not updated their website in maybe years now, but it's very important now for you to keep your site updated and let visitors to your site know that things are changing and that you guys are making progress. Now, if you do a bunch of marketing, how should you perceive the cost per acquisition? Right? How do you determine which type of marketing to do, when to cancel marketing? And I think that's the most difficulty practices have, is that they invest in marketing and worked a bit, and then it didn't work, and then the marketing company is telling them to keep on trying. I'm pretty sure everyone's been in that situation. You have if you have tried spend money on marketing. So It's very simple, and we always break everything to a science. So what you do is that you group your cost per acquisition, right? So you can figure out how much you're spending here, how many bookings that you have, and then your cost per acquisition at this point right here. Right. So what you do is that you take all of the advertising that you do, right? You look at spend, you look at the CPA, cost per acquisition, right? And you just kind of compare each one, right? So now when you have this, what you want to do is that you want to set these performance targets. So this is what we do with every one of our clients. This makes us kind of easy to digest. So we look at these numbers and we look at, well, you know, which one are we good at? So SEO is $200, which is great. Facebook's $250. Well, newspaper and direct mail seems to be expensive. So what we do is that we group them into 4 zones, right? So we say safe zone, based on the average, is about $250 to acquire a patient. Well, so let's put 176 to 250 as a safe zone. If our advertising falls into this category, is great, right? Now we look at our best performing one, and so this one is SEO. Right? So it's good to do this over a period of time, over a period of time, and you can constantly update this, right? So you can kind of look at numbers for the last couple of years to see which ones are attractive targets. Then you say, well, anything under 175, we call it the awesome zone, that they are performing well. All right. Now then you have this, we have critical zone, right? 251 to 350. You know what? This is the, you know, you're still profitable zone, but you know, you want to do better, right? It's above average, but you're still profitable. That's the critical zone. And then we have the danger zone here, right? Danger zone is that where either you're unprofitable or they fall outside of most of the other marketing, right? So you have these 4 zones and you put them into these four zones. And I recommend you review your marketing every single quarter to see where things are within each of these zones. And then we do this for our clients, right? Because a lot of things change, a lot of things move. So your philosophy should be the awesome zone. Okay, great. If you need more patient, you should invest more in this type of marketing, right? Now the safe zone, you're comfortable with this, but you want to increase this by moving it into the awesome zone. See if there's techniques that you guys can do that you guys can move onto the new zone. All right, there's techniques you can optimize, right? Now the critical zone, right? So either some type of marketing has been effective or if it's new marketing and it's in this zone, what you want to do is that you want to try to bring this back into these other zones, into the safe zone or the awesome zone by kind of fixing things up, right? And the danger zone is zones that you should just eliminate. Eliminate the danger zone. So that should be the focus of your marketing. And another thing to keep in mind is that you want to try new type of marketing as well, because marketing techniques change every few quarters or every single month. So it's very important for you to have an area where you do experimentation, where you try marketing, right? A lot of dental offices think that when they try marketing and it doesn't work, when try technique, they think that's a bad thing. So that's actually a good thing, because you start eliminating things that are not working and you learn from that, right? That's number one. And number two is that maybe it worked well, then that's great. So you want to focus on that, right? So if you want to increase the patient, let's say next few months you want to increase the patient, what you do is that you start looking at techniques from the awesome zone first and then the safe zone, right? Now, you want to decrease your spending on marketing. The first thing you should start looking at is the danger zone, start eliminating those as well. But do keep in mind that if you try Facebook marketing either by yourself or with an agency, it doesn't work, it does not mean that it's bad, we work with so many clients where they try something, it doesn't work. And then when we look at the campaign setup, we did a few things and it became really, really profitable, right? So one example is with Google Ads. So we have one client where we started working, and there are certain parameters that they set with Google Ads that they weren't profiting from, right? They were just losing a lot of money. They're getting very low patients with Google Ads. And maybe some of you are feeling the same or have the same experience. So what we did, we came in, we looked at it. One thing we noticed was the area where they target patients was way too big, right? So like probably 95% of your patients are coming from about 20 postal codes. So what we did was, and you can do this as well, look into your Google My Business setting, and you can look at where people are getting directions from, and that's where your patients are from. So instead of like I think 50 or 100 kilometer radius, they said, we decreased that just to the postal code that was bringing them patients. That's number one, right? Number two was the scheduling. They were scheduling the ads to go on in the middle of the night, which we found 0 patients. So we changed the setting to the business hours. That's where even if someone contacted them in the middle of the night, no one was there to answer the phone. So we changed the setting to their business hours. And we made a bunch of different settings, and that just improved the profitability instantly, right? So keep that in mind, that whatever marketing that you do with a few fixes can make a big difference. So variables affecting profitability. So at the end of the day, you want to be profitable with your marketing. So a few things that you have to consider when you do increase the number of patients before you spend a lot in marketing is that you need to have the right number of staff. So that could be a cost as well. So you should factor that in. You have to pay for more equipment for the staff once you bring in more patients, and then you'll be ordering more supplies. So when you do an initiative to get more patients, don't just look at the cost to acquire the patient and then the costs, the revenue generated, right? Because you have to consider these 3 main factors in your profitability as well. 3 main factors affecting your profitability, and every single dental office is different, and I recommend that you talk to your accountant about this. All right, now let's put everything together into the winning formula. Okay. There are 3 stages that a patient has to go through to book an appointment with you before they become a patient. So number 1 is that you need to attract their attention. So that's with ads, SEO, social media, and other type of marketing. Once you get their attention, you want to motivate them to book. That's where your website, landing pages, and videos. And once you motivate them to book, the staff, your team needs to schedule patients, schedule them in. There are 4 factors that affect the scheduling of patients, such as opening schedule, training receptionist, calls answer, extended hours, right? So I'll go through each of these in depth. So pretty much these 3 elements need to be aligned before they become a patient. I've seen so many offices where they say, oh, the marketing is not working, it's not working. And when you look at the numbers, this is why I say it's very important for you to track, right? Because you need to know where the deficiencies are, and you need to focus on those areas. So yeah, I've seen so many offices where they say marketing is not working, it's not working. And we look at the data and the marketing is working, but when they're calling the office, no one's there to answer the phone. Right? Or they drive traffic to the site, to their website, and they drive a lot of traffic. The ads are very effective, but patients aren't booking because a lot of elements are not on the website, which I'll explain to you in a bit. So you attract patients by four main areas of advertising. You have your digital marketing. So these are pay advertising usually. The online, the social, we have social media here. So like let's say Facebook, Google ads, and YouTube ads, Twitter ads, Instagram ads, right? So this is digital marketing, so, pay advertising. Next is search engine optimization. So this is where you get traffic to your site by optimizing it for Google, and you don't have to pay. And no matter how much traffic you get, you don't have to pay. Next is social media. So this is where you post on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. This doesn't cost to you except the cost of your time. And then other type of marketing. So usually other types of marketing or offline marketing. And we found that increasingly, and especially with COVID, to be very ineffective, very costly. So with COVID, I would say that social media now become a really big factor. Now people need to know where they are going to. It's very important for you to have your social media accounts, have information, keep people updated. They want to know, they want to go to a dental office that's up to date with all the procedures. And then SEO has the highest return on investment that we've seen over time. So this is always a good investment. And as I mentioned, pay advertising, the cost will be going down, which is a great thing. And then so you want to track and see which one of these are working into getting the attention. Now, once you get their attention and they come and to your site or watch your video, how do you motivate them to book? So I'll be covering the 5 factors that motivate patients to book. You need to have a great looking website. That's the most important factor to motivate them to book. Next is landing pages. So if you hire a good marketing company, they will create landing pages for you. So landing pages are specific pages to the needs of the user. So if the user is looking for implants, you want them to send them to a special page that just has the implants, right? So that's a landing page. Now, is a website a landing page? The answer is no, right? So the concept of landing pages is that it wants you to give information to everything that they need and information, and don't provide information they don't need. So when they go to your website, there's so much information on your website, it actually distracts people from making a decision. So that's why if you know they're looking for implants, you want to send them to landing pages. And the best practice, if you're not doing this or your marketing company is not doing this, you should tell them to do this, is to, for all of your ads, send them to landing pages. Do not, if you pay for any ads, do not send them to your website. The conversion rate is so much higher with landing pages. So if you know they're looking for implants, or if you know they have a dental emergency, you want them to send them to a page with dental emergency or send them to a page with implant, right? Now think about if you want to buy a car and you want to buy the Honda Accord, do you want to go to a single page that talks about Honda Accords, or do you want a page that talks about every single car on the planet, 50 cars, or 50 cars? You want to buy Honda Accord 2020? Do you want to go to a page that has information on Honda Accord 2020, or a page that talks about everything, all different types of years, right? And the last thing that motivates patients to book is video, right? So which I will discuss a little bit later on. Now, they're motivated, they want to book with you. There's 4 factors, and this is within the control of your office to schedule a patient in. So when they call with you, and our system have tracked this over and over again, right? So it's very important for you to get metrics on these 4 factors. The 4 things that needs to check off when they're on this call with your receptionist is do you have an open schedule? Do you have a schedule that matches their needs, match the time that they are available? Is your receptionist trained in saying the right thing? There's one office where we found the receptionist, which was great. She cared about the patient. She's very nice, pleasant, was making one mistake, and this mistake ended up costing the dental office $200,000 per year. And by fixing this one thing, they were able to capture those lost revenue that they were losing. And if you want to know what that one thing was, she was when patients call, they ask about insurance, instead of taking the insurance information down and kind of finding out herself, she told the patient to call the insurance company and then call her back. So she didn't ask for the phone numbers, or she didn't follow up. She didn't take that information, right? But she was a great receptionist otherwise. So you want to make sure your receptionist is trained, because it can cost you, and it is probably costing you a lot of money. I spoke to a lot of consultants who've done this. We reviewed the performance of many offices, and this is a really big factor. It's a lot bigger factor than you realize, right? The next is that you want to make sure calls are answered. So with our system, it tracks when calls are being made and if they were answered or not, right? Surprising thing with your office is that one thing that might probably surprise you is that the number of calls that's not being answered. We've seen dental offices where they have about 3-4 receptionists, and they were still missing calls. Calls were missed because they called before and after office hours. Calls were missed because people were on lunch. I think there was one office where people were on lunch during certain hours, and there was only one person in the office, and that was where the majority of the calls were coming in. So they were losing patients because of that. So you want to make sure that you're answering the calls. And then next is hours. So you want to know which hours your office has to accommodate your demographics, right? So we always look at the number of calls based on the office hours, and we would make recommendations to dental offices about what days to open for more hours and less hours, right? So one thing that we've seen over and over again is that patients are calling between 8 to 9 a.m. and the office is opening at 9 a.m., right? So they're missing substantial number of calls. And what we discovered why people were doing this was because people were going to work. They don't want to book a dentist appointment while they were working. So on their way to work, on the GO train, on the bus, or even driving the car, they were calling the office, and no one was there to pick up the phone. So we just asked these offices to have a receptionist come in, not the whole staff, but just a receptionist come in 1 hour early to take on those calls, and that can actually help you book a lot more patients, right? So you want to track this final stage of patient booking. Now, so a couple of things to consider if you want to get more patients for your dental office. A few things to ask yourself is that, do you have the facility to accommodate these influx of new patients? And then now with COVID, dental offices need to do a lot of upgrades to make sure that it's safe. I know the procedures haven't been outlined yet by the college, so you might require more space. You might not be able to have as many operatories, right? But that's one thing to consider if you have the facility to accommodate more patients. Next is the associate and staff. You might be at a certain point where, if you're the principal dentist, that your schedule is full. So if you have more patients, you need to bring in another associate, if that makes sense. And then last thing, one of the most important thing is the buy-in of the office manager, right? I've seen so many offices where their marketing or the growth has stopped or hit a plateau just because the office manager was not on board. But I've also seen where offices where they have great office managers, and those are the thriving dental practices. So it's very important for you to ask the question, is your office manager on board? Can you increase the new patients, and how to get them on board, right? So make sure that you talk to your office manager, come up with a strategy that works for them. And a great thing that I learned from a friend is that it's very the great thing to get the buy-in of the team and office manager is to offer financial incentives. So he teaches, he's a consultant hero. He teaches office how to create a great incentive system. And I think that's the kind of the best buy-in, because in reality, the office manager needs to do more work, and depending on the compensation, they deserve to, or everyone deserves, if they bring more value to the company or they work more for the office, they deserve to get incentive and benefit from that as well. So that's very important. So lastly, I'll finish off by talking about the patient motivation model. We don't have much time, and we do have some questions. So there are 5 factors that motivate patients to book. And mentally, patients need to check off these 5 things in the mind before they book an appointment with you. And so all your advertising and marketing needs to address these 5 things, right? And it's kind of a good checklist to have. So number 5 is the overall convenience. Can they call? Can they email? Can they text message to book an appointment with you? Do you have flexible hours for them? The number 4 is location. Are you within 5 or 10 minutes of where they work or where they live? Number 3 is perception of quality. So not the actual quality itself, but the perception of quality. And this is even more important now than ever, because now their patients are very discriminative in the type of dental offices that they will attend. So the number 1 factor is not what you have in the pictures, but the quality of the pictures. That's more important. So, I highly recommend that you get the latest version of the iPhone with the great camera, same with Samsung. So really excuse to spend on expensive gadgets. It's very important for you to update them and have high quality pictures. Number 2 is match their needs. If they're looking for implants, do you offer implants? And you need to communicate that with them. And then lastly is the trust and liking. So this is now more important than ever. So if they trust or they like you, they're more likely to go and choose to book with you than any other dental office. So that's more important than ever. So keep those things in mind. So that ends my presentation. And the conclusion is that things change. Is more important now than ever for you to have, for you to focus on marketing, because patients are being more discriminative of where they go. A lot more patients will be switching or looking for offices where they feel safe. And it's very important for you to communicate with your patients to bring them back, and communicate through all your social media channels to reflect, how safe your facilities are. And with the right marketing strategy, with a good marketing strategy, you're able to increase or decrease the number of patients that you are getting. And this is very important, because if you need 4 or 5 more patients this month, next month, exactly with the right marketing strategy that you're able to turn it off and on, just like a dial. All right, so now let's go to questions. So feel free to post your questions in the chat area. So do we have any questions? So we have some here from Facebook. Okay, let's see here. Hello, everyone from Facebook. How will COVID affect the cost of marketing? So as I mentioned, the costs will be decreasing. The pay ads will be decreasing. I think overall the competition will be decreasing as well, which is a great opportunity for the dental offices who are increasing their marketing, focusing more on their marketing. This is a great opportunity for you. And I think it's more important for dental offices to increase in marketing during this time and take advantage of the opportunity. So, but there will be more techniques, different techniques that will be effective. The next question is, what is the average cost of a pay ad? Abigail posed that question. I would look, it's different based on different mediums. So what I can say from my experience is that when a medium is not working, your cost could be, like $800, $900, right? When you look at the numbers and it looks really high, it means it's not working because the cost is differs, right? I would put into two types: ads that work and ads that don't work. The ads that don't work cost you a lot. The ads that do work, you'll see a lot of patients coming in, and then you can kind of look at what the ad cost is. So it really depends. Cost per, just kind of give you some numbers. Cost per click for like Toronto dentists, it's about the word Toronto dentist on Google Ads is about $10, $15. Dental emergency is about $25 to $30 with less competitive keywords, which you want, it could be as low as $3 to $5. But the most important thing is to focus on cost per acquisition, right? Doesn't matter. So with Google Ads, we took over one client and he was paying, I think, less than $1 per click, right? Whereas the cheapest word that you can bid on was $3 to $4. So, he thought, he was like, oh, this is so great. I'm paying less per click than even the lowest rate. And so we dug deeper. What we discovered, the reason it was so low was that it was like click 2 a.m. in the night in this middle of nowhere town that's like 50 kilometers from his dental office. So the main thing, so nobody's bidding at 2 a.m., right? Nobody's bidding during that time, and nobody's bidding in that city. So that's why he was able to get it under $1, right? Whereas one thing that we've seen is that with Google Ads, right? So let's say we bid for work, let's say Toronto dentist, it would cost, let's say $10. Okay. Now we made some changes to it where our bid went from $10 to $15. So you think that that's a bad thing? It was actually an amazing thing because the conversion was high. What we did was that the bid was for 24 hours. On average, it would be $10, but we closed it off so that it's only during business hours, and it was $15. That was way better value than the $10, right? So the most important thing, as I mentioned before, is to focus on the cost per acquisition. How will, this from Juan Summer, how will technology help with marketing? So all we do is we build technology. That's all we do. And we always stay on the frontiers of advertising, of marketing and technology. And I have to say this, like if you, this is the example of spreadsheets, right? There was a time before spreadsheets existed, and the amount of work that people have to do on an accountant have to do on piece of paper took like 100 hours, whereas on spreadsheet it can be done within 30 minutes. Right? So that's changed the industry. And the same thing is with marketing. I study the latest technology, and simple technology make things a lot more efficient, and you can win with these formula, and you have to leverage these technology, right? So one example is that what we do with our technology is that we send patients, when they call the office or when they fill a form to book an appointment, we automatically send them a text message. So with technology, we're able to do that, right? So you have a new patient who goes onto your website and fills out a form, right? They get email confirmation as well as a text message on the phone instantly, right? Just by adding that one simple technology, we were able to increase the booking by 50 to 75%, right? So now instead of responding by email to the patient in 2 or 3 hours, the patient's able to respond to text message instantly. So just little things like that has made a big difference, and we constantly see the advantage of technology. Another thing is retargeting. So when a patient, let's say you spend $10 on advertising in Google Ads, and they come to your site and they leave, they don't book, you lost $10, right? So with retargeting, they come to your site, you tag them, they leave, and constantly for the next 90 days, they see your ads over and over and over again, right? So simple things with technology makes a huge difference. And I can just go on for hours on the latest technology. It's very important for you. I mean, it's difficult for a dental office to stay on top of it, but it's very important for you to try new services to see what works for you. Okay, so it's from Emma. How do we plan for marketing now? Right. So that's a really good question. So I recommend that everyone start setting up the social media profile if you have time, or if your team has time. Definitely start looking into and setting up your social media profile. Start talking to marketing companies, such as yourself. I'm more than happy to talk to you, and start playing out the strategy. Start doing research and see what works and what doesn't work, and start having a plan of what you will try out going forward. But one thing that's within your control is to take control of your social media accounts, Facebook and Instagram, and post updates on there to get that going, get used to that process. What types of marketing will not work, right? So there's certain type of marketing that has worked well in the past or has been decreasing and will get even worse. So number one is with print advertising. Print advertising will definitely decrease. Right now in society, we've made a big jump to digital, right? To digital marketing. And so people's lives will be a lot more advanced. There's a lot more technology in people's lives. And the second thing is that with print, you're kind of passing it by hand, right? People are touching it and kind of passing magazine and newspaper by. So that will decrease substantially. And it's already been happening. I think COVID accelerated it. Print has always been decreasing, digital has been increasing, and this goes back to Ron's question about technology. With such technology, the cost of acquiring patients, the cost of targeting the right patients, the right demographic is so much easier and less expensive now. People have a lot less privacy online. Like, you would not believe the information we can find out about people. It just makes advertising online digital marketing so much more efficient. So the other question, what will change with respect to marketing? I believe the number one factor that motivates patients to book is trust and liking. So that's going to definitely change. I feel that within our society right now with social distancing, so people yearn for that personal touch. So that personal connection now more than ever. And because of technology and because people are more adapt to it, people will expect and they want more personal photos and videos from the dental office, and they want to have that connection. So a lot of offices like to kind of just outsource and pay for marketing companies to take care of everything and not even think about it. And a lot of companies like doing that, right? But that's no longer the case. You will need to create videos, create pictures. You need a marketing partner to help you create a schedule and use those content and communicate those content to patients and potential patients. Okay. Do we have any last questions before we close it off? Okay, so I just want to thank everyone for attending, and we have a lot of great webinars coming up. So please go to Dentistry Business webinar series to see all the upcoming ones. We have one tomorrow where we're talking about dental photography, which is very important for you, once again, to communicate your message and communicate what your office is about to the patients. So Dr. Abbas will be here teaching you that. So don't miss the one for tomorrow. I believe that's 2 p.m. Otherwise, sign up for future ones at dentistrybusiness.com webinar series. And if you get a promo code for myself or anyone else, any of other speakers, feel free to use that code. You're able to attend all of these webinars at no charge. So thank you very much, and hope to see you in future webinars.